new LinkedIn Hiring Pro can't undo your last hire, the no-show. Who set you back because they didn't show up on day one, or day two, or ever again. And now your product launch is delayed because you're talking to alien abduction podcasters to track them down. But LinkedIn Hiring Pro can help make sure your next hire sticks. In fact, businesses who use LinkedIn are 24% less likely to reopen a role in the next 12 months. Hire right the first time with LinkedIn Hiring Pro. Post a free job today at linkedin.com/quality.
This message is brought to you by Apple Card. Shave ice by the beach. A trip to the state fair. And a throwback flick at the local drive-in. They're more than just items to check off the summer bucket list. They're also opportunities to earn 2% daily cash back when you use your Apple Card with Apple Pay. Apply for Apple Card now and use in-minutes with Apple Pay. Subject to credit approval. Apple Card is issued by Goldman Sachs Bank USA, Salt Lake City branch. Terms and more at applecard.com.
This episode is brought to you by Tidy Cats, here to level up your litter game with their new Performance Plus lineup. Your home is your happy place. Your cats, VIPs. So when it comes to the litter box, excellence isn't optional. Choose from products that specialize in max power clumping, low tracking, or odor fighting so advanced, stink won't see it coming. Tidy Cats Performance Plus. Mission mighty, keep it tidy. Shop now at tidycats.com.
Hear that? That's now Crispy and McCrispy strips meeting creamy Caesar sauce. Sounds extra crispy. Caesar sauce at McDonald's for a limited time. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
All right, back with another episode of Keeping Current with Kansas City. This is Thad Bell from the KC Soccer Journal. With me, Daniel Sperry from the KC Star. We do not have Carrie Robinson with us tonight. She is otherwise occupied with some stuff. Hopefully, she's getting that taken care of. Nothing too tragic, but she's good. Didn't want anybody to worry. How are you tonight, Daniel?
I am doing well.
You actually, in theory, started earlier than you normally do.
I did. We're in back to school mode here as our oldest starts first grade tomorrow. So try to get everything set up right, all that fun stuff.
Cool. Have to go to bed earlier now, right?
She does.
Yeah,
although
not you.
She won't sleep. She's going to be too excited tonight. So we're just going to let her get worn out these first couple of days, and that sleep cycle will take care of itself.
Yep. I understand. All right. Kansas City Current. Well, let's start off with, I'll say the positives. Temwa Chawinga, Malawi. On to the final. You and I both said we'd be surprised if Malawi made it, even into the group stage. And sure enough, look at them. They win the group. They're on to the final, winning games in the quarterfinals against Kenya and Algeria. And they've got a spot in the World Cup. And boy, the Chawinga sisters are elevating the Scorchers, I believe is what their nickname is, to new heights. That's a really, really cool story. When Timwa's back, one of us needs to ask how the nickname of the Scorchers, what if there's some relevance to it, what it means.
For sure.
I'm curious. Maybe I can Google it, probably could, but I'd rather ask her. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't think we were probably wrong to think that they wouldn't make it that far because Malawi's not been a power in any way, shape, or form. You can have a couple of good players, but I'm curious, have you looked at their roster to see if there's other players besides Tabitha and Temwa that are better than what we expected?
Yeah, I mean, Rose Kadzire unfortunately gets sent off and she'll miss the final, but she's been a very good player for them in the midfield. And I think there's, their defense has actually done a pretty good job. The game that they lost, did they lose a game? No, they did tie. Oh, yeah. They did lose a game. They lost to Zambia. But they, for the most part, they didn't get fully torched by some of the better teams that they played. And, their backline, Nigeria is a very good team and Zambia is a very good team, very talented attack. and they were able to kind of manage their games and they scored a lot of goals. So I think there's a good group collective effort, and you have two superstar players that are elevated above any other level of a lot of the players that they're playing in this tournament right now.
Yeah, I will say of the videos and the recaps that I've seen, I do have a stream to today's game. I've only watched a little bit of it, but the defenses and goalkeeping has not been the most stellar on the opponents, so that might help a little bit.
I don't know that it's been stellar for anyone throughout this tournament, to be honest.
True. Yeah,
But
anybody.
but still, I will give credit where credit's due with Malawi. I think they've found ways to be difficult to score against and have put away their chances with their superstars.
Yep. I do kind of want to watch some of that to see how much is Timoa being defensive, because we know how good she is defensively. I don't know much about Tabitha, but we know Timoa is really good at it. So,
Yep, Temwa can equally be the best attacker and defender on the field in many of the games that she sets foot into. So
give her some gloves; she might be the best keeper.
she might be a pretty darn good goalkeeper.
So, all right, man. Congrats to Malawi and Timoa and Tabitha, and I was just happy for them to make the World Cup, much less go to the final. So good for them.
Yep,
great story, no matter how you look at it. All right, looking at a little less of a great story, Kansas City Current went to Houston and was by, I would say, significantly the better team in the first half. I don't want to say by far, but I'll say significantly. Is that fair? Like,
I'll say
halfway,
by far.
Okay,
say by far.
It
was 60 to 40 possession. They had 10 shots on goal, or 10 shots. Half of them on target, all of them from high quality areas inside the box. Feel good about that, right? Like in that's a performance that you think is going to continue to carry you to a win.
And then they go a little more defensive in the second half, or a lot more defensive. And Houston builds some momentum and then have a opportune penalty awarded to them, which they converted. So the game ended up 1-1. Kind of, I'd say, mostly a fair result, because Kansas City was by far the better team in the first half. Houston was the better team in the second half. Probably mostly because the Current set back a little bit. But what did you think of that penalty? I've seen a lot of people question it.
A lot of people have questioned it. I think Armas has questioned it. He feels very confident that shouldn't have been a penalty. I will say this. I think Houston did the Houston player did a great job of manufacturing a penalty kick. But I think it's a penalty kick. Yep. And I think there's something to be said for if it's two players going to a ball, they're trying to get into the ball, the first person doesn't get it, and the player the player that gets the ball knocks it past the defender, and the defender is now taking out the player because they they were late to the challenge. It's the same thing. She was late to the challenge, and I get she turns to try and pull out of it, but you're late to the challenge because you didn't win the ball, and you now have fouled the player in the box. It's almost the same thing if a player was going 1v1 with the goalkeeper. If the player goes and they get the ball, goalkeeper does it and gets the player, it's a penalty kick. It's every day of the week, and I don't think it's any different in this scenario. So you can talk about whether or not that was going to be a goal, whether that was a really dangerous situation, whether she may have even gotten that ball that she knocked past E-ball. However, it is a foul in the box and it's a penalty kick. And I think that is, I think, the frustrating part, because I don't know, it feels like at times current teams of the past would have, one, not been okay with that result at all. And two, I don't think they would have looked to use the penalty kick as an excuse for why they didn't win a game. And it feels at the moment, the way comments have been said about it, that at times, not necessarily the players, but the rhetoric coming out about the penalty kick makes it feel like they aren't fully they're not really willing to take the criticism for the way the second half went. The current lodged one shot attempt in the entire second half before the game went level. That it was 15 minutes into the half when they changed, when they brought Penelope Hawking in for Dabinia, and that was just a situation that probably didn't need to, you know. Anyways, I'm looking at some of the decisions made in the second half, and I am a little frustrated because I do think Armis is right in saying that every single player showed up on the night and they gave a significant amount of effort. I don't think it wasn't quite enough to win. And when you're missing Michelle Cooper, Kayla Sharples is on the bench. Lorena doesn't start, who's very, very good against penalty kicks. Lainey Rouse, who's arguably, rookie. If you had a rookie 11 of the year, Lainey Rouse is your starting right back, and one of the best defenders out of this rookie class that's come in. She's gone. Ellie Bravo Young, who has not been great this year, but is also a experienced player, injured.
Yep.
Temwa is gone, and so there's a lot. There's a lot of Michelle, and I think, I don't know if I mentioned her. I'm making sure I did. Just with Michelle Cooper being out too, you're looking at a very long laundry list of absences where you need you need to make sure all the little details are right in order to win, and they just didn't do enough of that. Despite the effort being there, despite the energy being there at the beginning, they didn't do enough of it over 90 minutes to deserve to win the game.
Yeah, if they make that game a 2-0 game in the first half, it's probably they pull that result out whether it's a penalty or not, right?
Yep.
Which is the old current teams.
Yep. Or they, the old current teams too also went and got one, and they made sure that they got the next one. And I think that was something that I wish they would have done in terms of getting the result. I think for 80 minutes they did everything they could have to deserve to win that game for the most part. And I'm not going to be naive to think that teams aren't going to try and attack. Teams aren't going to sit there, like, they're going to come at you and try and do things and adjust things and all of that. But you can't. There's just some things about that second half that I think, man, you wish you would have had some of the decisions back. I think for players, individuals, Croy Bethune was very pointed about the fact that they didn't really keep the ball very well when they won it back against Houston. That is not necessarily a coach thing. Sure, a coach could set them up better or maybe pull a different string personnel wise, but ultimately that's a team that can keep the ball and wasn't keeping the ball and playing a little too panicky, which at that point could also be the personnel that they didn't have available too. And so I think there's some, it is equally players as much as it is maybe some coaching questions in this instance. But we're over here treating a 1-1 road draw like a loss too. So,
well, it's disappointing because for one, they were up 1-0. Two, they did seem to sit back more in the second half, like early in the second half, not like 20 minutes left in the second half to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there's a lot of factors to this because there's a lot of things that we don't know behind the scenes. There's a lot of players who have been injured this year and are playing minutes, and some of them are not as young as they used to be and recovering. So they may be trying to save legs in some of those players. They may have been told that we need to not attack as hard or something. I don't know, but I think there was a coaching decision in there that they were not as offensive in the second half, and that just set them up to be under pressure the entire time. And they were, when they're in the attack, even if they don't have Cooper, if they don't have Temwa, they still have a good enough attack that they can pressure a team like Houston. Okay, Houston's not a good team. Houston's a team that if they're going to go into on the road anywhere and win, that's one of the teams they should have done it at.
Yeah.
And again, that's easy to say, and teams fight harder at home and all that good stuff. So I wouldn't have criticized them too much if it was a 1-1 draw. It's just that they are kind of like, oh, we gave our best effort. we're out there getting 1% better every day kind of comment,
Yeah. There was an interesting comment. Armis talked about the fact that he switched Dabinia and Haley Hopkins in the game, and I think that can
Yes.
also play a factor to it. As much, and with all due respect to Avery Patterson, but their thought process that was explained here was that, Dabinia, Avery Patterson is the best, you know, chance creator, on ball creator that Houston has. And but their numbers showed that. And I wouldn't necessarily disagree with that. Just looking at the quality that's at the hand of that Houston roster. Kat Rader will finish a chance, but she's not necessarily the one that's going to go create or play a final pass kind of a thing. Avery Patterson will come inside, go over the overlap, and kind of create. And their thought process, well, Dabinia didn't quite have the legs to continue to run up and back and forth with her and defend her and cover her in that way. So they put Dabinia up top and switched Haley Hopkins, who can play out on the wing, out onto her. It's a fine thought process, maybe if it was late in the game, but to do it to start the second half, you've lost your hold-up player up at the top who you were playing through and who was coming in and winning those physical battles when you were winning the ball back and trying to go forward quickly. She was there to help bring others into the attack. Dabinia cannot do that as well. And I think it's one of those that if you have the decision back, you just bring off Dabinia at halftime. And if you really felt that strongly about 45 minutes of Avery Patterson getting on the ball more was worrying to you, then, maybe just make a different personnel decision at that point for the second half versus trying to keep Dabinia on the field, in the way that they did. But again, I think we're kind of really parsing decisions here for a road draw, which in the grand scheme of things, I think most people would have taken given the Kearns road woes this year. But it's more, I wrote this today too. I think it's more the fact that this team has won 2 games in 7 from the restart, and they are falling away from the top of the table quicker as quickly as they are falling away from the top of the table, the top end of the table, they are drifting towards the bottom of the playoff line. They have games they've played more games, so the teams below them have games in hand. But the Current do have games against them coming up, like Seattle, North Carolina. So I think those things you get some 6-pointers, I guess, coming up where the Current win those. I think it does a nice swing in their favor.
Well, a swing in their favor to keep them in the playoffs, not necessarily climb up, because the teams above them are not in that same situation. They have about the same amount of games, and they do not have as many games against some of those, I think.
No.
Although they do have one coming up this weekend. But before we go into that, I just want to go back for a second, because you did a kind of a long talk there for a little bit. Back to the PK for just, I know, it's okay. I just didn't want to interrupt too much. Back to the PK. It was clearly to me a PK because Ball basically, her chest, the Houston player's chest ran into Ball's shoulder. That's it. Right there. That's the penalty. Because it wasn't like Ball was standing. Ball moved in front of her. That's why it's a foul. The ball getting touched past, all those other factors doesn't matter as much. Ball obstructed the Houston player from going forward. That's it. So I don't know why people don't think that was a penalty.
Yep.
All right. Anything else from this last game?
No.
We'll be right back.
Losing weight is one thing, but looking and feeling your best this summer, that's the real goal. That's why Weight Loss by Hims now offers access to the FDA-approved Wegovy pill and Wegovy pen. Wegovy is designed to help you lose weight and keep it off, so you can show up this summer feeling like yourself. With Wegovy at Hims, lose up to 20% of your body weight when combined with diet and exercise. It helps you regulate your appetite, eat less, and keep weight off. Plus, Wegovy is the first ever GLP-1 pill for weight loss, so there are no needles needed. Ready to reach your goals? Visit hims.com/FFSN to get a personalized, affordable plan that gets you. That's HIMS.com/FFSN. hims.com/FFSN. Weight loss by Hims is not available in all 50 states. Wegovy is the registered trademark of Novo Nordisk AS. To get started and learn more, including important safety information, Wegovy clinical study information and restrictions, visit hims.com. That's HIMS.com/FFSN, hims.com/FFSN.
The new LinkedIn Hiring Pro can't undo your last hire, the no-show. Who set you back because they didn't show up on day one, or day two, or ever again. And now your product launch is delayed because you're talking to alien abduction podcasters to track them down. But LinkedIn Hiring Pro can help make sure your next hire sticks. In fact, businesses who use LinkedIn are 24% less likely to reopen a role in the next 12 months. Hire right the first time with LinkedIn Hiring Pro. Post a free job today at linkedin.com/quality.
This message is brought to you by Apple Card. Shave ice by the beach. A trip to the state fair. And a throwback flick at the local drive-in. They're more than just items to check off the summer bucket list. They're also opportunities to earn 2% daily cash back when you use your Apple Card with Apple Pay. Apply for Apple Card now and use in-minutes with Apple Pay. Subject to credit approval. Apple Card is issued by Goldman Sachs Bank USA, Salt Lake City branch. Terms and more at applecard.com.
This episode is brought to you by Tidy Cats, here to level up your litter game with their new Performance Plus lineup. Your home is your happy place, your cats, VIPs. So when it comes to the litter box, excellence isn't optional. Choose from products that specialize in max power clumping, low tracking, or odor fighting so advanced, stink won't see it coming. Tidy Cats Performance Plus. Mission mighty, keep it tidy. Shop now at tidycats.com.
And we're back. All right. Going into the game this weekend, well, Friday, a couple days from now, Gotham's at the top of the table. Current are 7th. Gotham has 1 loss in the last 14, 2 draws in there also. They're on a really good run. The current, as you touched upon, is they had a good streak there in the middle of this season so far where they had 1 loss in 7 games. But since that, they have two losses, 3 draws, and 1 win. And the 1 win was racing Louisville at home. Now, again, factors. I mean, we can't just. I don't like to just criticize on the fact that they've had these wins or losses. They've been without Cooper. They've been without Timoff for some of this. They've been without Lorena for a while. All of these factors, those all come into play. In the end, it doesn't look good on your season stats, but we also, not every game is equal to others. Cooper should be probably available for this weekend. She was in practice, saw her in drills. She, I don't know how long because we don't get to stay for very long, usually. But I did see her make a nice steal and score a goal in one of the little mini goals and those type of drills they did. And she looks like she's ready to play at least some minutes. I wouldn't expect her to start. I wouldn't expect her to have a ton of minutes, but I would expect her to at least get some. Lorena should be available. Lainey Rouse will not be available.
No.
The bad news is I don't remember exactly how Arma said it, a couple weeks or a few weeks, but I took it to be a while.
It made it sound like a couple of weeks at the minimum. So
Yeah.
I would not be surprised if she plays a soccer game until September.
Yeah. And they were happy that whatever injury it was is not as bad as they have first feared. So
Yep.
On the positive side is they are getting some younger players time. Amelia White, Gianna Paul is getting a little bit back in now. So there's at least some players that are getting some good experience, although it doesn't help you in the table in the long run. So
No, but I'll also note this opponent this weekend has won 2 trophies, not really mattering about where they were at the table at the end,
Yep.
just that they were peaking at the right time. And this is a KC current roster that I think we all look at and say on paper, this should be a championship caliber team if everybody's close to healthy. And if they can somehow get there coming to the end of it, the season and start playing at their best, then I think, that kind of a dream could come true, I think, for this team in a way. And especially,
I don't know that I look at this team and say it's a championship caliber roster. It's a team that could compete in the top 4 is where I would look at it.
I would disagree with that.
That's fine.
I would disagree with that. I think it's certainly a challenge, a championship roster, but if playing to its best, and that is the issue, is that we have not seen that for a truly extended period this year. But anyways,
True. Gotham is at the top table. They're in good form, like I said. They do have a really good roster also. Astaire, Jaden Shaw, Rose Lavelle,
no
Jordan
more
Dudley.
Astaire. Astaire's gone.
That's right.
Sam Kerr now.
Yes.
Real big drop off there.
Well, I will be interested to see how she does.
It's sarcasm, but yes.
No, I know it was being sarcasm, but also just coming back to the league.
I'm making sure our listeners know that that's absolute sarcasm.
Yeah.
But yes.
Yeah, you're right. I did kind of forget that. But she's, 6 matches played, 4 starts, 2 goals and an assist in that time. So not too bad of a return.
Not too shabby for one of the best players in league history.
Yeah. Again, I don't want to assume she's going to be automatically great again because, has been out of the league for a while. So,
yeah.
I mean, playing at a really high level still. So,
yes.
Yeah, I think she wanted to come back and compete for Timo's title for Golden Boot. Might have to wait till next year, but anyway.
Might have to wait till next year.
Ignoring Astaire, because I was just reading off the list at the top of the thing here. Jaden Shaw, Rose Lavelle, Jordan Dudley, Sam Kerr, all are going to put in some goals. I don't even know how to pronounce this name, but Guro Reitan?
Guro Reitan. She's been a very, very good player at Chelsea for the past few years.
She's got 4 assists, so they have a pretty talented team. What do you expect from Gotham at home?
I expect them to be very good. I don't know. I think this is a team that has found its stride. They've found some health, a little bit more so. They're buoyed by the fact that Tierna Davidson has really returned in top level form, even though they lost Emily Sonnet to a pretty nasty knee injury as a torn patellar tendon. You got Jalen Howell, and who has really kind of established herself as a very good enforcer in the midfield. You have a experience in Savannah McCaskill in the midfield, Rose Lavelle, and then you have players like Jaden Shaw. Jordan Dudley is a great playmaker. So they've got a lot of things going for them, and they have found, defensively, that's probably the biggest thing. They've conceded the fewest goals out of anyone in the league. They've conceded 12 goals. They don't score a ton, but they're just 24 goals in 19 games. But it doesn't matter when you only concede 12 goals over that time frame. You're going to win a lot of games if you're conceding less than a goal a game. That's the current last year. So this is a team that's kind of found a way to just motor on through, and they've got a lot of talent that's been healthy this year and compared to previous years. That is really making that push for them.
So, score prediction?
I'm going to say Gotham win this one 2-0.
I will say 2-1.
Okay.
A late goal for Cooper. So, we'll see.
Yeah.
I think last week when we talked, I had the correct score prediction, 1-1.
You did, because...
And again, I don't really care about that much because there's no predicting in this league.
Yeah, but you get to wear a crown now, Thad.
Any other NWSL news? Current news?
I was trying to think...
The new LinkedIn Hiring Pro can't undo your last hire, the no-show. Who set you back because they didn't show up on day 1, or day 2, or ever again. And now your product launch is delayed because you're talking to alien abduction podcasters to track them down. But LinkedIn Hiring Pro can help make sure your next hire sticks. In fact, businesses who use LinkedIn are 24% less likely to reopen a role in the next 12 months. Hire right the first time with LinkedIn Hiring Pro. Post a free job today at linkedin.com/quality.
This message is brought to you by Apple Card. Shave ice by the beach. A trip to the state fair. And a throwback flick at the local drive-in. They're more than just items to check off the summer bucket list. They're also opportunities to earn 2% daily cash back when you use your Apple Card with Apple Pay. Apply for Apple Card now and use in minutes with Apple Pay. Subject to credit approval. Apple Card is issued by Goldman Sachs Bank USA, Salt Lake City branch. Terms and more at applecard.com.
This episode is brought to you by Tidy Cats, here to level up your litter game with their new Performance Plus lineup. Your home is your happy place. Your cats, VIPs. So when it comes to the litter box, excellence isn't optional. Choose from products that specialize in max power clumping, low tracking, or odor fighting so advanced, stink won't see it coming. Tidy Cats Performance Plus. Mission mighty, keep it tidy. Shop now at tidycats.com.
Hear that? That's now Crispy and McCrispy strips meeting creamy Caesar sauce. Sounds extra crispy. Caesar sauce at McDonald's for a limited time. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
No really big NWSL news, but Chicago fired their head coach
And assistant
today.
coach.
And assistant coach. And Lauren Donaldson is somehow back with the organization. Man, such a weird situation over there. They've been an extremely poorly run franchise for the entirety of their history, and it's weighing on them, that's for sure. So I think getting boat raced out by Racing Louisville in recent weeks has made them pull the trigger. They are 18 games into the season and have not gotten double-digit goals scored. And the Kansas City Current lost to this team. Pathetic. Anyways.
Yeah, that was a fluke.
Fluke in a long time ago, but wow, man. That team is horrid. The roster is not great. The coaching has been abysmal. And so, yeah.
Minus 24 goal differential.
Yep. And I believe their expected goal differential is like right on the nose with that too. So they've just been that bad.
I mean, I don't know the organization, but you'd think that somewhere along the line they would make a good hire that could propel them to being at least mediocre.
You would think so.
I mean, I got some names for them, but anyway. I think you and I could GM that team better than they have been.
Mm-hmm.
I got some coaches in mind too.
Check out that American Soccer Analysis Road to 75 game. I finally hit 75 and lost in the quarterfinals. Oh, just the most infuriating thing ever. I'm going to blame it on the fact that I had Casey Stoney as my coach. But
yeah. And for anybody who hasn't seen that American Soccer Analysis, is it on the link there? Because I just searched it and it popped up. So
it's Road to 75. I believe it's road to 75asa.com, if I'm correct.
Okay. But if you just Google it or whatever search engine you prefer, you'll probably find it. And after I saw, I think you posted on social media, I'm like, I tried it and I think I wasted a good hour and a half of running through doing it on NWSL. I tried one on MLS and went,
The daily challenge is my favorite. The MLS gives you a budget, so you have to play with allocation money and your actual roster budget, DPs, U22 slots, which is kind of fun. NWSL doesn't tell anybody who is an HIP player, so we can't really track that kind of crap or money.
Although we have a lot of suspicions.
But the NWSL one is also very good. Check it out. Yes. This is what it is. 75points.americansocceranalysis.com. Make sure it's the right thing. Give them credit for it. But it's a very fun, like the road was it the road to 82 or the 82-0 game that made it very popular. There was a road to 7 that was like a World Cup based one that came out right before the World Cup started too. That was super popular. So very fun
AI fun database tool to play games with. So
it's kind of fun for me because I've been around the league since it started and watching players and all that stuff. And I tell you, every time the Boston Breakers pop up, I just say spin again.
Until you get the one where you don't get any spins and you're just stuck.
Yeah.
Like I had Jim Gabarra. I had to select Jim Gabarra as he was the best coaching option. And so I was doing some more research on him because he was not a very good coach. Washington Spirit fans will tell you that. The funniest thing about him is that his daughter plays for the Kansas City Current too at the moment. So
really,
Talia Gabarra.
Oh,
is on the KC Current too, the daughter of great Washington Spirit coach Jim Gabarra. There's some deep cuts for you. Some deep NWSL cuts.
Okay, nobody send this to her after you just badmouth her dad.
I mean, the records will show that he was not a very winning coach.
And
he was a great indoor soccer player, but he was not a very good coach. Not all of them turn out to be Vlaco.
No, and sometimes it is the situation you're in.
Yes.
I don't know anybody who would be successful in Chicago right now, for example.
Nope.
A good coach will take a team to be better. A bad coach will take a team to be worse. And there's a lot of average coaches that will be just about what the roster will be.
Mm-hmm. Oh, anyways, in some non-NWSL news here, going to shout out some of the local women's soccer players that are on the watch list for the Mac Herman Trophy.
Did I see you just put out an article that might have mentioned those players?
I might have done so on the Kansas City Star.
Okay. I'm just trying to give you your opportunity to shout out promote yourself.
Appreciate it. Yep. You can find it at the Kansas City Star. I've also mentioned some of the local men's players in here, but this is a podcast about the Kansas City Current and women's soccer. So we're going to talk about them. Bella Field is a senior at Arkansas and a Blue Valley West alum. Sydney Watts is a Lenexa native, went to St. Thomas Aquinas, and is a star striker at Vanderbilt. She was I believe, a semifinalist for the Mac Herman last year. Led the nation, led the SEC in goal scoring. A very all-around striker threat. Kansas City Current would love her. She might take playing time, though, from a player that they're wanting to push through one of these days. Izzy DeBuell is a junior at Santa Clara University and a Blue Valley Northwest grad. And Lillian Reuscher is a junior at Rice. I think she goes by Lily. So apologies for full government naming you on this podcast, but Rice, and this is a Park Hill South product. As defenders, they made the watch list, which I thought was interesting. So a much smaller list when it comes to defenders and goalkeepers. The list for midfielders and forwards is like 40 players long on that preseason watch list. But 4 KC products. There are more Kansas City products on the Mac Herman watch list than there are on the roster at the University of Kansas. Would like to see a little bit more of the KC product love for that roster at KU Women's Soccer, despite them being a very good program, going to the Sweet 16 last year. So the college soccer is back locally. UMKC has a very women's team has a very local roster as well. I think they have 8 or 9 players from the KC area on that roster, and have I believe their coach was a former FCKC player, although don't quote me on that. So no, Dad shakes his head no. So I'm going to say
I don't think so.
I'm incorrect.
Well, maybe you are. I could be incorrect also, but I don't remember her being an FCKC player. But she was a local college player.
She was.
And came highly recommended by some former FCKC coaching staff.
There you go. But yes, between UMKC women and KU women, both programs are on the rise, kind of at different levels. But UMKC finally had a winning season for the first time in a few years last year, and we're probably looking to build on that this year with their group. So.
I thought the UMKC women kind of faltered a little bit last year, but they were better the previous year. I think last year they started off really good.
Record wise, last year was the best season that they've had in the past 5. So
on the men's side, the last 2 years have been really good.
Yep, and this is going to be another very good year for UMKC men's soccer, but that's for another podcast on another time.
Which I'm going to throw out there that I am working on starting a college-focused pod, which will probably only be over the couple months of the college season primarily, but trying to get some interviews set up with UMKC coaches and the KU coach, and then on a regular basis, and then trying to get a occasional ones with K-State, Mizzou, Creighton, just some of the other ones around the area that are Div 1, and I'll try to get some of the other ones in too, but we'll have to see how that goes. Anyway, so I gave you a chance to promote yours, and I'm trying to promote one that hasn't actually happened yet, but hopefully will. But do go to UMKC and watch some of their games, the men's program, women's program. Both of them are fun.
And if you feel like
they're
getting
right
all
on
the way
this-
out to Rock Chalk Park, do it too.
And they're on the UMKC. The only reason I really promote them is they're on the streetcar line.
There you go.
So people downtown can hop on, go to a game, it's pretty cheap, and enjoy and get back.
There you go.
KU, not so much.
Yeah.
But I am going to try to get to K-State and some of the other college teams around the area, but they're not quite as easy to do.
No.
All right. Any good last words?
No, but enjoy Malawi on Sunday.
Yeah. Who do they play?
The winner of Morocco and Cameroon tomorrow.
So they will get the extra day rest.
The valuable extra day rest.
And one good thing for the Current is after this game against Gotham, they'll be home for the next like 4, 5. Yeah, like the next 4. And they should Orlando, Bay, North Carolina, Seattle. They should be winnable games at home. So, All right. Thanks for joining, Daniel. We didn't get as much time this week as we had hoped, but appreciate it and talk to you later. We are out.
Attention passengers, we've now reached our destination. We hope you enjoyed the flight and have a nice day.